Hey everybody, Sean here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in the Resident Evil DLC for Dead by Daylight, going for the Adept Nemesis achievement. This one is going to be done from the killer side. It is to get a merciless killer rating as the Nemesis, only using his 3 unique perks. You are obviously going to need to pick up Nemesis from the DLC pack or from the in-game store. You also need to make sure you get him to a minimum of level 10 to open up 3 free perk slots. The perks you want to run are going to be Lethal Pursuer, Hysteria, and then finally for your third, you're going to want Eruption. Leave the fourth empty if you have that available to you, and you can do whatever you want for add-ons or offerings. Make sure you get into the game, and it's time to go for the Merciless Killer rating. So at the start of any game using this build, what you want to do is you want to make sure you take advantage of the Lethal Pursuer perk. This is going to allow you to see where the survivors spawn in, and then what you can do is you can make sure you try to cut them off. So because you know where they are, you can head straight there instead of wasting time patrolling the generators. So try your best to cut them off, and then what you want to do is you want to make sure you try to get some early hooks in. So if you can do that, but if you can't, your goal for the Nemesis in the early game is to try to build up his Tentacle Strike to tier 3. So the Tentacle Strike is going to be Nemesis's special attack. You use it by holding left trigger and then releasing it. It's basically going to be a range attack. The way it's going to work is it's going to put infection on whoever it hits, and then if you manage to use a tentacle strike on someone who is already infected, it's going to take them down 1 health state. So pretty much what it's going to do is it's going to give Nemesis a range attack that takes 3 hits to fully down a survivor. So pretty useful, as it is going to give you a longer reach, which is going to help out with vaulting situations. However, it is going to come at the cost of you needing to land an additional hit with it. Also, the aim can be a little awkward since you use your left hand to attack with it, so make sure you try to get used to that, as every other killer in the game is going to be right-handed, so you are probably used to that being your dominant hand in this game. That being said, every time you do land a hit with your Tentacle Strike, you're going to build up its tier, and then what you want to do is want to make sure you get it all the way up to tier 3. Every time you increase its tier level, it's basically going to extend its reach, so you should make a already pretty good range attack even longer, and then once you get it up to tier 2 and beyond, you are able to use it to break pallets and barriers. And that's going to be super useful, as the Nemesis's big weakness is going to be looping. Since he's such a tall killer, he's going to be very clunky, and he's not going to turn very well. Also, his normal attack is going to be a forward swinging attack, so again, he's not really good against a survivor who does know how to loop him well. So you definitely want to try to bait the survivors into the spots in the loop where there is going to be a pallet, and that way you can punish them with your Tentacle Strike, as a highly leveled up Tentacle Strike can not only reach over a pallet, it can also break pallets potentially. Now, if you are having a hard time of building up your tentacle tiers by infecting the survivors, what you can also do is, if you notice around the map there are going to be some zombies roaming around, you can also use your tentacle strikes to kill the zombies, and that should also rank up your tentacle tier. Do keep in mind the zombies are actually going to be way more useful if you leave them alone, as they can help you pressure survivors off of generators. How the zombies are going to work is they can attack the survivors, and they're going to be the same as a tentacle strike. So if they hit a survivor, they're going to put infection on them. If they attack a survivor who's already infected, they are going to take them down 1 health state. And the zombies are going to really help out in situations where they're going to be unexpected. So if you can, try to keep them alive, but if you absolutely need to rank up your tentacles really quickly, do take advantage of them the best you can. Anyways, back to the normal Dead by Daylight gameplay. Do keep in mind the tentacle aim is going to take a little practice to get a hang of, but once you do manage to knock it down, it's going to be very useful, and it's going to make up for a lot of the Nemesis's clunkiness. So once you get it up to tier 3, you should be able to blast through pallets, thankfully, so make sure you do take advantage of that. Just like any other Dead by Daylight killer, though, do keep in mind that if you have an opportunity where your normal attack is going to be more effective than your special attack, you want to make sure you fall back on your Dead by Daylight fundamentals. So make sure you don't over-rely on one strategy and keep the survivors on their toes and guessing. The key to doing well with the Nemesis, though, is making sure you keep all of the survivors away from loops and try to make sure you keep your chases as straight as possible. Again, Nemesis's big weakness is going to be turning, so if you can avoid any situations where the survivors are going to force you to turn often, the better, and then you can punish accordingly. So again, make sure you take advantage of the Tentacle Strike if it is useful, but of course nothing beats good old Dead by Daylight fundamentals, so make sure you try to combine both, and you should be able to do well in all 4 of the major killer statistics. And then once you do, you should be good for the Merciless killer rating, but just like with any other difficult to use killer, this may take a little bit of practice before you can get the game that you want. So try to stick with it, and then once you do manage to score well enough in all 4 of those killer categories, you should be good for the merciless killer rating and the adept that goes along with it. Of course, you can always check how well you did by hitting right bumper on the results screen. Once you do manage that +2, you should be good for the achievement. It's going to be for 20 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.